Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, live, just back from the VA. Still living. Good morning, and welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as usual, my friends, drink it if you got it. Good to see you. Man, it's cold this morning. I think this has been the coldest morning of the year that we've had so far. And I'm in the house and I'm still dressed up warm. I was out early this morning. It's in the 40s, which I know for some of you is still tropical, but for me, I'm freezing my butt off here. Trying to make my hat look symmetrical. Super good to see you all. Well, 61 people, got a nice crowd here. Let me make sure I'm live on Rumble. Always something I need to do. Don't see anybody in the chat over there, but I am live. 3 people viewing. Okay. It's late. It's later than 8:30. I really like to start these things at 8:30. Wow, my hat is just not looking perfect. There we go. Anyway, I let you kind of see a little bit of the chat up there. Am I down at the bottom? Yes, I am. And I will now make myself bigger. Well, I'll tell you all about my little physical visit this morning after I say a quick hello to the early birds. And they started last night at 12 minutes after 7 because I was a little early posting the live stream. So you guys jump right in. Cliff Medina said hi. Tina was here. Hiya, Tina. See you in the morning. Juan Manuel from Chile. Buenos dias a todos, he says. Morning to you. Good day to you, Juan. Good to see you. I don't know if you're back in here yet or not. And he said hi to me. Peter chimed in. And Alice Zanto, YouTuber using a drone camera today, looks super cool and was silent. Looked like something you would like. Probably, yeah. I always like drone stuff. It was a DJI Neo. Oh, no kidding. Okay, mini drone. Yeah, one of those little new ones. They're pretty cool. Pearl Grandma said hello. Tuka said hello. Lady June says hello. Pearl Grandma says, looks like another all-night party. Here I am at 2:02 a.m. Greg Smith chimed in the middle of the night at 2:23. Holy cow. Well, Greg is out west, though, so that was still late, 11:30 or so for him. Tweet and Pearl said, good morning. Was it even morning when she said that? Yes, 4:15 a.m. That's when I was up. I woke up slightly after 4 this morning. Tricia is pursuing better health. Good morning, everyone, she says. Mike Seeley Sr. chimed in. Wayne Herman chimed in. Granny Boo 2 chimed in at 6:15. Mike Seeley Jr. chimed in. Good morning. At about 8 o'clock, Patty Molden Smoothie 420. Yes, it is cold. Pamela Suarez chimed in at around 9 o'clock. Retired fat guy. Couch Potato 909. James Billou. How you doing, James? From California. Good to see you. Lynn Gerber from Florida here. Sandy Blythe. Good morning, all. And James Billou said, thank God the fires missed the valley. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that on the news. Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee, 9:30. We're sneaking up on it, guys. Sneaking up on the opening here. William McCartney, 9:38. Rick from Miami woke up. Charger Mopar, good to see you. And Susan Ivy's here. I'm here. Hopefully. Peter chimed back in this morning. And Peter Desmier, how you doing from Montreal? How you doing, Peter? Good to see you. Good to see you. Bryce Hatch is here. We up to 10 o'clock yet? No, DS111. Valerie Thompson. Claudia Burkick, and says, good morning, everyone. Coming up on it. Aaron, Booby Goats, 2 minutes before. Good to see you. Terry Sue chimed in. 9:59. Robbie Autry, who was yesterday's winner, I think. 9:59. And the winner today, ding, 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 is William McCartney. The horse race, the great horse race. I got through that in 5 minutes. Wow. How about that? I'm just here for the Mitch information and propaganda. You will eat the meat and not have any pudding. Can I get some fat trimmings from ribeye then? Yes. Yes, William. Way to go. And at 10 o'clock, Tina chimed in. Edward Renner chimed in. Don Galasso said good morning. Francine Bourgeois, good morning to all Mitchers and secondhand veggies. Vegans from Montreal, Canada. Saw that in a comment on a Sean Baker short. That should stop all the bad talk about us. Yeah, right. Good luck. Good luck. And also, right on the money at 10. Feral Grandma, Marla Kelly, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Ketra Naylor at 10 o'clock. Wow. And Tanya Kitchen Witch at 10 o'clock. Good morning, Tanya. Morning, Mitch, and all my favorite humans. And I will stop right here for a second and leave Tanya's chat up there because Tanya and Peter Desbier both have already bought me a cup of coffee this morning. Thank you. Very, very pleasant surprise upon returning from the VA. Peter's message says, good morning, Mitch. 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 4 started. Prep for my procedure on Friday. Oh, wow. Endoscopy and colonoscopy. So fasting. We'll be finishing up your cast library over the next few days. Appreciate all the resources, experience, and wisdom. Thank you, Peter. And Tanya commented, and I love this, Tanya. For just the cost of a cup of coffee, you get, and in capital letters, all this. I never thought of it that way, but I agree. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Tanya. Thank you so much. Okay, let's finish with the 10 o'clockers. We had Lori's Carnivore Story checked in at 10, and Dan Galasso was back. It's a sweltering 8 degrees in Detroit. Wow. Michael Pregler hit it at 10 o'clock. Look at all you people chiming in at 10. Amazing. Harry Dion. Good morning, Harry. Kevin, Michael, family of Smith. Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, fam. And that was the last at 10 o'clock. And starting the show at 10:01, Graceful Lily said hi. Joanne Martin or Martine, morning, Mitch. I'm watching from Willits, Canada. Good morning to you, Carnivorous. Cat Mom's here. Say hi to you, Eva. Eva Puckett. Good morning, Eva. Danny in Boston's here. Gina Cav is here. Briggs, backing tracks. Good morning, fellow meatheads. Polish Mike chimed in. Good to see you. And anybody else new? Princess Mom, good morning. Good morning. Running a little late in the chat. No, you're not. You're right on time. Ernie Earhart, hello, Mitch. And catch a few more, and I'll get on to my show notes. Who is this? Juan again. Norm T. Good morning, Norm. How are you? How are you? And is this OC? Is this a question? Was that the doctor and everyone was in such a bad mood, couldn't wait to get back here to all the smiles? Princess, we're gonna always do the best we can to keep it happy. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes there's just a lot of crap going on. But we keep it. I want this to be a happy place. I had a pretty good time at the VA this morning. So I'm up to 10:06. And it's 10:10 now. So I might be able to catch up on some of this early chat and get it out of the way so I don't have to be so far behind. So let me breeze through this. Put QQQ in the chat before a question, if you have one, and I'll get to it. I have a lot of stuff I have to accomplish today. This is a late start for me. I'm hoping this will not drag on for hours, but whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back at the regularly scheduled time of 8:30, but still inside because it's still going to be in the 40s. Now, Saturday morning, it's supposed to be in the low 60s. I'll be back outside with the musical cigar and everything else. And I really enjoy doing it from outside. All right, let's get through the chat. Ribeye Susie, Sandy Blythe got you. Lori, Booby, Mama Bear says good morning. Good morning, Mama Bear. How are you? Guys are chatting back and forth. Said hello to you. Said hello to all these people. Lewis L is here. Good morning, Lewis. Good morning. Good morning. And that's it. I made it to the end of the chat. Super. So maybe I won't be all that far behind. Bill Cook was the last one I saw, and a couple more entries since then. You guys talking each other. So great. I can actually get to the show notes all caught up. Got 100 people so far. And as usual, a couple of things. Nothing that should take a lot of time today, so get me some questions, or this may indeed be a short one. Announcing, and I put it in the description of the video. I put it in the description of the video that still nobody in the Rumble chat. 7 people over there. Wow. That we're having a meetup here in Melbourne the 28th, January the 28th, on a Tuesday, 11:30 at the Brazilian Steakhouse. RSVP. Haven't gotten any yet. Don't know if anybody's coming. These things are tough because there's always travel involved. There's just not enough carnivores living in the neighborhood, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We can only try. We can only try. Some people can make it this day. Some people can make it that day. A lot of you still work. Anyway, 28th in Melbourne, Florida. Private live stream tonight. Private community live stream, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I'll be there. I hope to see you too. We'll have a panel. Hopefully we'll bring more women in tonight. Come on, girls. Come on, girls. Join us. Join us. I know you're out there. You've done it before. So join us. Join us. But it'll probably be all guys again. But I can only ask. I can only ask. You can lead a horse to water, they say. You know the saying. I told you tomorrow at the regular time, Saturday regular time. Sunday, there probably will not be unless I have to call off my travel plans to see my daughter in Tampa. I leave early in the morning. I'll probably pop in with a impromptu live sometime during the morning from over there in Tampa. Probably just to do it on my cell phone thing. And we'll take it. We'll play it by ear. We'll play it by ear. But every once in a while, I got to miss a morning. I haven't missed any yet since I started this thing. And we'll see. Maybe I can figure out some way to safely do it while I'm driving over there. I don't know. But there will be no advance notice. There won't be a stream up there. So you guys can chat away, pre-chat. I know you'll all miss each other, but and it won't be a long live stream, certainly not an hour, maybe 15, 20 minutes. But I may or may not see you on Sunday, but Monday morning, bright and early, 8:30, I'll be back. Now, went to the VA this morning. I hadn't yet gone and had my blood drawn. Usually I go over there early in the morning a week before my physical, so the results will be all there and ready. But that's when I'm doing these morning live streams, I can't do that. I just can't do that. So I said, well, I'm just going to have to put the blood tests off. I'll get them done the day I go in. I'll go in earlier, get my blood test, then I'll go get my physical. And there's nothing in those blood tests that I think she would need to comment on anyway, other than the normal things that cholesterol and stuff. So I'm not worried about it. I know how to interpret every one of those tests and what they mean and where they should be and why they're outside of a normal range, if. So I can play doctor in that respect. So I figured no big deal. So I went in there this morning. I got to the VA at 7 a.m. My appointment was at 7:30 with the nurse for Let's Play 20 Questions, and 8 o'clock with my nurse practitioner. I call her a doctor. My father was a pharmacist, and everybody called him Doc, so why not? Went and got the blood drawn. Still have some blood left. God, they take a lot of blood. The usual stuff. 6 vials, 7 vials full of blood. I hope they drew a vitamin D. I'm sure they probably did, but generally those results come in, I think, almost a week late because they don't do them in-house. They don't do the vitamin Ds at the VA lab, but they do the rest. So I should have the results of those things Monday at the latest, and we'll go over them. And we'll see if it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. So got my bloods drawn, ran over to the, went and signed in at the desk where I get my physical, ran and got a cup of coffee at the commissary there, $1. The commissary at the VA still has like $19.99 prices. It's crazy. You can get, a whole $3. You can get a whole big bacon and egg breakfast with a side of hash browns. I mean, that's what they do for the vets. And the coffee is a big, huge coffee, which is now God knows how much at a convenience store. It's $1. It's been $1, always $1. No tax, real easy. So I got myself a cup of coffee, went out there. The nurse called me in, and the nurse's job is to play 20 questions and take your blood pressure and your temperature. Now, if any of you have been listening to me for a while, you know that me and blood pressure machines in doctor's offices just don't get along. I have something that's called white coat syndrome. That means that just the thought stresses me and my blood pressure goes up. I've had that all my life. I tell them, don't even bother taking my blood pressure. Then I drag out the picture on my cell phone, which I've showed you guys, which is the average of all the blood pressures that I take here in the morning when I normally take my blood pressure. And I say, this is what my blood pressure really is. And this is what I show them. Let me try to hold this up if you can see it. Yes. This screen you see here, 116/66, pulse of 62, the little A down to the left of the pulse means it's an average. It is the average of the last 100 readings, the 100 times. Can't hide them when they're high. They average in. But the average of my 100 readings, and each of those readings was the average of 3 different readings of blood pressure. I have my machine set to it that takes your blood pressure 3 times with a wait period in between and averages those 3. So basically that means that is really what my blood pressure is. My machine is accurate. I have another machine. I use that one occasionally just to see, and they always come out exactly the same. So I go in there knowing my blood pressure is perfect, and she starts asking me questions. And the VA asks tons of questions because so many veterans have so many real psychological problems, PTSD, suicidal tendencies, medical conditions from different chemical substances they may have been exposed to. So they really run you through the 20 questions. And even though I'm old and retired, and they got to ask them, so we went through them, and they just came one after another. In the last 30 days, have you thought about harming yourself or anybody else? No. Overall, would you say that you're unhappy, indifferent? And I said, if I was any better, it'd be illegal. I don't know if she's ever heard that one, but I went in there with a big smile, and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked, and she read me all the things they're supposed to let me know about a healthy diet and all that other stuff, and they really, really go to town. And then she comes over and she throws that automated blood pressure thing on me. I said, it ain't going to work. It's not even worth the effort. And it goes to town. It blows up and it starts to go down, and then it blows up even more, and now the damn thing is starting to get so tight my arm's hurting, but it keeps going, and she's ready to call an ambulance because old Mitch here is about to have a stroke because his blood pressure. So the thing finally finished, and it read like 160 over something. I said, of course it did. I'm surprised it didn't read 200 over something. It always does. I said, the only way you're going to get a good blood pressure from me is to do it manually the good old way. Get out a sphygmomanometer and a stethoscope. So we answered more questions and more questions and more questions, and finally she drags out the sphygmomanometer and she sticks it on my arm and she takes my blood pressure. And she gets this astonished look on her face. I mean, astonished. An astonished look. And I said, what is it? She said, 122 over 70. I said, perfect. And I've had coffee already. I've had caffeine. I'm wired. And it's 122 over 70. I said, so there you go. See? So for the first time in, I think, my VA history, a blood pressure, a normal blood pressure, actually got recorded in my records. And then, of course, on the way in there, I stepped on the scale. Now, I'm stepping on the scale. I've got sweatpants on, sneakers on, a t-shirt on, a jacket on, and in the pocket of the jacket, I have my cell phone, my car keys. I'm actually holding the cup of coffee in my hand. And I climb on the scale, and I weighed 139.9 pounds, which means I'm probably about 136 to 137, which is exactly what I weigh and have weighed almost every morning well, I don't weigh myself every morning, but every time I weigh myself for the past year. And it's amazing, but that kind of astonishes medical personnel who never see anybody exhibit the dramatic weight loss I have over the years. they usually always see it going in the other direction. Another thing the nurse was astonished at, you don't take any drugs? She says, like, how could that be? It's impossible. Everybody takes drugs, prescriptions. You don't take any drugs? No. I take a few electrolytes and a vitamin D. That's it. And a couple drops of iodine. She says, she shakes her head like, there's something wrong with me. Everybody has to be taking drugs. How could you live? And what else did she ask me? She asked me, that'll come to me. But every answer I gave her was totally the opposite of what she normally hears, and she was astonished by all that. It was incredible. But that was it, and I went out of there. She did ask me one other question. I wanted to not talk about, but just let you know, and it slipped my mind. So I went back in the waiting room, and my doctor comes out to get me about 8:15. Usually we're there for a long time, but I was kind of moving it along because I knew I had to get home. And I got out of there at 8:30. I was back here at 9 o'clock. I could have almost started this thing at 9, but I didn't want to cut it that close and rush and all that stuff. At any rate, we talked, and she knows me really well, and I know her really well. And she asked me how I'm doing, and I told her exactly how I'm doing. And she could see that I was doing, she's seen me transform from a overweight old man with a lot of different little ailments bugging me to a young 77-year-old that's thin and in good shape and happy. And that's the biggest difference. That is, it's just the fact that I'm happy. I'm smiling all the time. And we got talking about that, about my YouTube channel. And I said, we started talking about, I said, you'll get the blood test results in a few days. Don't worry. I know how to, how to read them and know what they mean. She says, oh yeah, I know you do. I said, yeah. She says, well, you'll get a letter if there's anything abnormal. I said, well, you can save that. I know my cholesterol is going to be high. I know my blood urea nitrogen, my BUN is going to be up there because I eat a lot of protein. That's normal. It can be up to 50 for somebody on a low carb diet with an adequate amount of protein. There are numbers that don't fall in the normal ranges because the normal ranges are the ranges of the 99+% of people who are metabolically ill. I don't want to be in that normal range. The normal range that we're in with some of these numbers, like cholesterol and some other things, they consider alarmist. How dare you be healthy, evidently. So I'll get the blood work when I get it. We talked for about 10 minutes. I said, you going to listen to my heart? She says, yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. So she came over with the stethoscope, and I sat on the table, and she started on my back and said, take a really deep breath. She's checking my lungs, and then she comes around front. She puts it over my heart. She says, breathe normally. And I breathe normally, and she's listening and listening and listening and listening. She listened for quite a while. Longer than maybe she's was more thorough or whatever, but she listened here and she listened there. And then she says, perfect. Perfect. I said, that's what I want to hear. Perfect. She says, oh, the nurse asked me the other thing I was trying to remember, do you want to get any vaccinations? Because they push flu vaccines, shingles vaccines, pneumonia vaccines. And I've gotten most of those. I got the shingles, I got the pneumonia years ago. But I used to take a flu shot, but I'm not taking any shots anymore. I've decided, no, I'm not going to let them stick God knows what in me. I don't know what they're doing and what they're putting in these things. So I said, no, thank you. Not for me. Not. I don't need it. I think I'm healthy enough where I'll fight off whatever hits me. If I get the flu, it'll probably just be a weak case of it anyway. And they didn't fight you. They don't fight you on that. That's the nice thing about the VA where I go is they respect your autonomy. They respect your autonomy. So that was it. That was it. I'll see the blood work. I don't expect any surprises. But I'm very happy and proud to say that all things considered, I'm in as perfect health as anybody my age could be, I guess. So there you go. There you go. You guys can still listen to me. With the caveat that we'll take a look at the blood work when it comes in. When it comes in. So I'm happy to report that. Thank you very much. Let me throw my Buy Me a Coffee link in the chat so you guys can. I know you're chomping at the bit too. I know I shouldn't forget that, but I almost did. Thank you very much, guys. Also, guys, don't forget my Amazon links over there if you want to buy something that I use or something through Amazon. It helps me out really, really well when you go into Amazon through one of my links, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Doesn't cost you a thing. All you got to do is remember to do it. And it helps. All right. So much for the commercialism here. All right, let's start looking for some questions. So I was at the bottom of the chat, and that was at what time did I start that? I don't even. Oh wow. All right, I'm behind. Look at all this. Okay, guys. Here we go. I see a question. 10:15. Any questions before that? I think I got to about 10:15, 10:10, 10:15. All right, we're going to start there. We'll start there. Ketra Naylor, question, Mitch. I had a tooth extraction yesterday, cracked root. Oh, I've had that. I had that. I now have an implant where that was because there was no way to crown it. No pain at all. Do you think I can attribute this to being carnivore for 11 months? No pain? With no Novocaine or anything? Wow. I mean, I think carnivore is great, but I'm not, or no pain after the Novocaine wore off. Yeah, I think healing faster on carnivore and having less pain overall is definitely can be attributed to carnivore. So yes. I know that I went ahead, I don't know if I'm going to take my headphones off so you guys can see, but you remember how beat up my poor head was not too long ago from banging it all over the place. Well, look, everything is completely healed. Everything is completely healed. I mean, I had bumps and lumps and cuts and scars. Everything is completely healed already. It's incredible. It's incredible. What time is it? It is, wow, we are really cruising today. And I think, guys, we could all use a few seconds of happy music, sip our coffees. Yes. And speaking of coffee, DS111 bought me a coffee. Thank you so much, my friend. Always very nice of you. Always very nice of you. That's worth some happy music. Thank you. No message attached, but just threw me a coffee. Thank you. I must confess that because I was cold and sitting here for a while before the stream, I managed to get halfway through this cup of coffee. I didn't wait until it started, but because of the coffee warmer, it's still hot. It's still hot and we're doing good. Okay. So I'm going to keep scrolling, looking for questions. Everybody's talking, and Ellen is here. Hi, Ellen. How you doing? I'm going to live. I had my physical. I'm going to survive. Probably better than I did last year. Ain't it great? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it absolutely amazing? This is amazing, guys. I'm not putting all this. I'm fired up about this lifestyle and how easy it is to do and maintain once you get into it and get those cravings put to bed. That's unfortunately where everybody succumbs. Follow the simple methods that I followed. No guarantee it's going to work for you, but I think maybe it might give you a better shot than you've had in the past. Give it a shot. You know my 30 days. I have a number of videos out there, what to do in the first 30 days. The two most important things I discovered. You hear me talk about it almost every day on the live streams here about the eating really to satiety, always having food ready during the first 30 days, learning to recognize the first inklings of what's going to turn into an irresistible craving and stuff your face, don't snack. Whenever you start eating, make it a whole meal. I don't care if you have to eat 5 meals a day in the first 30 days. I don't care if you have to eat 10,000 calories. I keep pushing this stuff. It's the only thing I've ever found that actually can get a handle on these horrible cravings. If you're a severe carb addict, and I think most of us who are hanging around here in the morning are. Questions I heard on the news from Tammy Pitarch. Hi, Tammy. I heard on the news plans in the works to put labels on alcohol. I would like to see warning labels on bags of sugar to start. We all know about alcohol. Your thoughts? Yeah. I don't, we have warning labels on tobacco products, the Surgeon General's warnings. And now I heard that they're really concerned that alcohol isn't good for you and causes heart disease, they said. I heard this actually on the morning news. And when you hear medical stuff on the morning news, that means the propaganda mill is in it. And some powerful, rich group with connections, lobbyists, and agendas has something, for some reason, wants that message out. And for some reason, somebody wanted to try to tie alcohol to heart disease. I don't know who it is and what motive they might have. I truly believe that, yes, any poisonous thing, and alcohol is a poison, eventually makes it more likely to get heart disease and many other diseases. But why they want to put a warning label on it, who knows? Who knows? Is it going to make any difference after they spend all the money and go through all the and create new government departments and staff them full of people and buy them cars, black Suburbans with their names on them and all that so that they can enforce it and do all this other stuff? Has a label on a pack of cigarettes ever stopped anybody from smoking the first cigarette? No. No. Is an alcoholic who can't stop drinking going to see the label on that beer and go, oh my God, I didn't know. Nobody told me. Fantasy land, people. We live in a fantasy world. I don't. I live in a real world. I look at everything through that perspective, and this is as absurd as everything else that they keep doing. Only this one, I haven't seen enough evidence yet to kind of zero in on who's doing it and why. And what are they, and how much money are they going to make because of it? Might be the medical community. Basically creating a new billable condition. So the insurance companies would have to pay for alcoholic treatments, of which they could probably, the pharmaceutical companies will probably start putting out on the market at very expensive prices. I mean, that's a reasonable scenario of why this is happening. There is a nefarious little operation underway that's going to end up making a lot of people a lot of money, and in the long run making us even worse off and sicker and fatter, probably on new and other drugs which have fabulous side effects. That's the best I can think of that. I know that that's kind of a cynical attitude, or it's just reality. And everybody's saying hi to Ellen. How you doing? Interesting question, and I did see that. Everybody's saying hi. Here's another QQQ carnivorous cat mom. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Question: I had gastric sleeve surgery 4 years ago prior to learning about carnivore, so I can't eat as much at each meal, but I do eat until full. How do I know if I'm getting enough protein? Well, your body will tell you, because if you're undernourished, you'll get hungry. I mean, you should get hungry. You could weigh it and try to calculate it. My daughter had a gastric band, and she always made up for it by eating 3 times as many smaller meals. So what I would do is, you know what your average food needs are. I wouldn't worry about protein as an individual macro. I would just worry about food in general and make sure you're eating food with a good fat to protein ratio. You don't have to worry about carbs if you're a carnivore. So if you hadn't had that, how many pounds of food a day of fatty meat, eggs, bacon, things like that, do you think you would be eating? And figure out how many meals, given the limited size of each meal that you're eating. Maybe you need to eat 3 times or 4 times a day, but I would spread it out. That might not help you with fasting, but at least let your food have time to digest itself between meals. And that's just something you're going to have to figure out. And I guarantee you there are probably many, many things you can research, experiences of other people who have gone through exactly. Go into YouTube or even Google and type in the search box, carnivore with gastric sleeve, and you'll probably come up with hundreds of videos of people telling their own personal stories and how they probably overcame it. My daughter finally ended up getting I don't know if she got it removed or she just had I think she actually had the band removed finally, because it never did any good. She lost a little weight at first, but it didn't take her very long to figure out she could cram a ton of ice cream in there and very high, dense, caloric, sugary foods and was able to keep the cravings alive without big volumes of food. So I think that having that bariatric surgery and having that band put in not only didn't help her, but almost forced her to become more of a carb addict. And I think it was a horrible experience. And you know that I am not, unless there's some physiological problem so bad, of any kind of bariatric surgery. Now, a sleeve or a band is the least destructive because they can be reversed. But when they start cutting up your stomach, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't think about doing it. That's all I can say. Someone bought me 3 coffees. Someone. Let's see if they gave me a clue who it was. I don't know who it was, but thank you, someone. Good luck with your blood readings, Mitch. I have Dr. Berry's Common Sense Labs. I have it as well. and I'm educating myself on blood labs. Blood labs, great info for self-interpreting my labs. Yes, yes, and between that book and I learned so much of what I know before I ever got a copy of that book. But I thought it would be handy as a reference. So it was, what, $15, I think. I got the PDF copy of it, and I don't look at it much anymore. I pretty well know these things, but it's a good idea to go over your blood work with a thing. Because in that book, not only do they have the, quote, normal ranges, he has the optimal numbers. And sometimes they're really close to one end or the other of the normal range. So, yeah, a great reference. I would encourage everybody that doesn't have it to get it. So, yeah, that was on that question about the gastric sleeve. I hope that made some sense to you. But you just have to experiment a little bit. And hopefully your hunger and satiety will guide you most of the way there. Just if you got to eat smaller amounts of food multiple times a day, I would lean towards not fasting as much, so that you're sure that between the meals you've had adequate time, at least 2 to 3 hours, to digest your food. Because otherwise, why bother? It doesn't matter how much you eat if you're not digesting it properly. I'm looking here in the, looking for questions. My cell phone is chiming away there. Ellen's chiming away. Everybody's chiming away. What's going on here? Seaside bought me 3 coffees too. Thank you so much. She says, you don't take any medications? You are out of this world. I've been accused of coming from someplace out of this world, especially by people in the medical community, because they can't believe somebody my age could not possibly not taking prescriptions. How could you even be alive at that age without having to have doctors prescribe things and take 12 different drugs? They can't understand that. That's the depth of the ignorance prevails. It's crazy. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Seaside. I really, and that's how I've learned to pronounce that. Spelled S-I-S-A-Y, but pronounced C-Sai. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very generous of you. Very generous of you and the someone before you. And of course, Tanya and DS111. Thank you guys so much as well. Is there anything else I've missed? Coffees. And hang in there 1 second. Okay, no problem. All righty. 156 people. Welcome. Great. Still nobody has said a word over in Rumble. I don't know if Rumble's a lost cause or not. I got a couple people over there, but maybe those people could only come at 8:30. Usually Rod Weeder's over there. All right, but we're doing good. 10:23. I'm about 20-some minutes behind again. Okay, let's see if I can see some questions, because you guys are chatting up a storm. And anybody new popped in, I will say hello to you if I remember who I said hello to before, and I usually do throughout most of the stream. Tammy Petard's got another question. Did you say you drank coffee before your blood work? No. I went in at 7, got my blood drawn, went and got a cup of coffee, and then went to where I would get my physical. So no, I didn't drink coffee. Well, I did. That's a lie. I drank 1 cup of decaf about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's about it. I don't care what the blood work says, honest to God. It's not important to me. If it wasn't for you guys and your interest in it, I probably wouldn't even get it done more than every couple of years. But like I said, I want to keep myself, I want the VA to consider me an active patient so that if something happens to me, more than likely a head injury like I had, a broken wrist like I had, kidney stones like I had, those kind of things. Not anybody trying to regulate my physiology and metabolism, but accidents, things that break. And in that respect, I'm glad we have doctors. I'm glad we have talented surgeons to fix those things. But stay out of my mitochondria and my cellular respiration and metabolism. Stay away. You don't know what you're doing with these chemicals that you keep suggesting that we take for the rest of our lives. Please, somebody needs to get the word to these people. Robbie Autry, question. Mitch, do you have any problem with your joints bothering you at all? Nada. Zero joint pain. And I had joint pain, man. I can tell you about some joint pain. I had rheumatoid arthritis and would get attacks so bad I couldn't tie my shoes. Couldn't tie my shoes. Not a shoulder pain. Knee pain. I had bad knees, not back pain. Now, I still watch my back. I'm still careful because I've got 2 compressed discs that have caused me in times to be in agony. There were times I had to crawl on all fours to the bathroom. I couldn't stand up. Never. Never anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy. In my 30s and 40s, I always had pain somewhere. No pain. Can I guarantee that all of your joint pain will go? I don't know how badly your joints are damaged. Luckily, I didn't damage mine to the point where there was no coming back from it. But just the fact that carnivore reduces the inflammation so much, I think the pain goes along with it. And my hands, I still say I've got the hands of, my hands are not the hands of almost 80-year-old man. I have dexterity. I still play the piano. Everything works. My knees don't hurt. But there are days when not because of pain, but just, I say, wow, Mitch, you're getting old. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't do a triple handspring off the high board. Maybe let discretion be the better part of valor. But no, doing great. Thanks for asking. And Cliff Medina, always concerned about my vitamin D. We'll see, Cliff. I'll let you know. And if it isn't, I'll up the dose a little bit. I know you're bugging me, but I will not take 100,000 international units of vitamin D a day. I've been taking 5. We'll see what happened. If I have to, I'll maybe up it to 10, 2 capsules a day. But I'm doing great without. I am doing great. I have no symptoms whatsoever of vitamin D deficiency, period. Everything is working fine. And I usually defer, Cliff, and I appreciate your concern. I usually defer to my first rule of everything, and that is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll see. But you'll be the first to know, my friend. And believe it or not, I listen, when any of you guys care about me in any way, I appreciate it. I really do. How can you not be happy that there is actually somebody on this planet that actually cares or gives a shit about you? It's very unusual. And everybody is answering or commenting on everybody else's questions. I'm looking for questions, and Spanky is in the house. Hi, Spanky, in all caps. Good morning, all cheers, he says, from Canada. Good to see you, Spanky. We'll probably see you tonight. Ellen commented on my flu shot comment, and she says, "Good, Mitch. Whatever you think, the efficacy of those flu shots is so low." Not only that, but did they even get the right strains? Because they have to reformulate that every year and to target specific strains. And half the time, by the time they get the flu shot out and everybody gets it, all the strains that are targeted are not around anymore, and what people are getting the flu with are all new strains. But I used to get the flu shot every year because I didn't think that that kind of immunization would hurt. But I better not talk about immunizations. I need to stop saying that word, or they will demonetize this live stream like they always do. It's one of the forbidden subjects that their algorithms look out for. And going down the chat, Mama Bear, I got a paralyzed vocal cord. Wow. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So now we're bad mouthing those things. 10:31. 25 minutes behind. All right, I need to run fast. EVHD. Do I remember that? Yeah, I remember that. I started that way back when, and it meant the environmentally appropriate human diet. The evolutionary appropriate human diet. EVHD, I called it. And I was trying to coin an acronym. And that was way back in the days before I started getting all of the heat from the religious people about even talking about evolution. I went through that grief. Lost a lot of subscribers, people telling me how wrong I was, and how dare you, it's not science. I got so tired of that, I drove those people away, and then I decided to double down on evolution talk, and anybody that didn't like it, sorry. It is, in my opinion, reality. And just because somebody doesn't agree with something you know is reality because of and they haven't done the research you've done and don't know what you know that proves it's reality, doesn't mean that I have to stop doing it so as not to hurt their feelings. So I stopped using the EVHD thing for a while, and I never really went back to it. And then, I don't know, acronyms, who knows? Who cares? Why? I don't need acronyms for much of anything. So that's what happened, Tanya. That's what happened. This has been a roller coaster for me of do I bow down to people in the name of keeping them as subscribers, or do I tell them, if you don't like it, F-O? And that was, I finally decided that I have to have that attitude. I cannot talk about things I don't believe in, and I cannot not talk about things that I believe in because I'm so afraid to hurt some butterfly's feelings. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Now, how did it end up? My channel doesn't grow a lot. I paid the price for alienating a lot of people because of that, because of the fact that I smoke a cigar. Sorry. I am not going to change who I am to please anybody on this planet. The choice is theirs to go pay attention somewhere else. I think we all have to do that. We all have to do that. And I'm too old at this point to do that. To kiss somebody's behind. And that's what happened to EVHD. Little walk down memory lane there from Tanya. Yeah. Oh, my phone went ding. Let's see what happened. My phone went ding, and Wendy Smith. Wendy Smith bought me a coffee. Coffee is better than meds. Well, of course it is. It's better than a lot of things. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much. I keep telling you how much I appreciate it, and it's no lie. No lie. And And what else we got here? Ketranella, wow, Mitch, your head looks great. You'd never know it was inhumane. Is that a left-handed compliment or a right-handed compliment? Thank you. Thank you. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Ellen is commenting on everything, and DS111 bought me a coffee with no message. I do not let the left hand know what the right hand does. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. And Tanya, I need that coffee warmer. Got it on my Amazon links. I put it on there. A lot of people asked me about it. It's a great one, and it really works great, and it's cheap. It's cheap. I don't know how I ever lived without it. Okay, we have another question here. Don Galasso, one of the guys at work, just tried to tell me there are some doctors starting to speak out against the carnivore diet that might not be as healthy. Yeah, massive eye roll. Of course there are. Most doctors speak out about it because it'll put them out of business. They'll put them out of business. It would be a paradigm shift in the way humans live their lives. But fortunately, there's this little thing called carbohydrate addiction that's going to keep the doctors in business as long as they want to be. Just like nicotine addiction, even though the cigarette companies got all this grief all those years ago and they tried to put them out of business, didn't stop most of those people that were smoking. The older ones. They're still smoking today. They still have cigarettes at every convenience store. They have warning labels. And then the tobacco companies ended up buying the food companies, which are more addictive than cigarettes, and they're the richest companies on the planet now. There you go. There you go. Addiction is the way, folks. Get them addicted. They're customers for life. They couldn't leave if they wanted to. We just need to keep them away from our competition, and we're good. And that's where we are right now, unfortunately, and it's a shame. Terry Sue says, Mitch doing the Karen voice always makes me... Yeah, I got some. That's great. That's great. Yeah, I like that. I have ways. I can always talk like a whiny, complaining person when it's called for. Somebody named Ernie must have been asked me what Terry Sue answered. Ernie, Mitch doesn't eat vegetables. Somebody must ask, what are my favorite vegetables? And then somebody else, Kathy, says, put a QQQ in front of your question. So evidently Ernie asked me what vegetables I eat, and I don't eat vegetables. Seaside says, question, in your opinion, what is the most important diagnostic test people should have done? Colonoscopy, CAC score. I don't think a CAC score is important at all. I think you could live without that unless you've got severe symptoms of cardiac disease. And in that case, they should really be doing a CT angiogram that shows not just calcium, but plaque as well. A colonoscopy, I think, no reason not to have one. It's mildly invasive, does have some small risks, but colon cancer is something that you will not get symptoms of until it's too late. And we have that test, and they can burn a polyp off. So yeah, I think it's, I think maybe when you get to be 50, have one, and they'll tell you how often to have them after that. They told me, they never found a polyp on my first colonoscopy, so they told me come back in 10 years. I went back 3 times, had my last one when I was 70. I'm done now. At 80 years old, I'm not worried about it. If I were to get colon cancer at 80, it would kill me at 110 anyway, so I don't want to take the risk anymore. And there is a mild risk. If they perforate something by accident, it could kill you. You could have sepsis quickly. So that's the risk of it. You have to weigh it yourself. As far as that, and I'm not talking about blood tests here because you didn't bring that up, but yeah, I would think a colonography. I think they're kind of getting away from mammograms for women. I don't pay much attention to that, but it seems to me I've seen some articles about how they're changing the recommendations on whether that's really all that effective. The simple answer to fix everything is just stop eating plant sugars and seed oils. And you probably, even if you didn't get those tests, would be okay, would be healthy. Good question. Good question. And don't let me stop you from getting a CAC score, calcium scan score, if you want to. I don't particularly want to. How we doing here? 10:45. All right. Catching up, trying to go faster. DS111, Mitch is from space. Got news for you, my friend. We're all from space. At one point in the history of the individual atoms that make us up, everything we are has come from, and the Earth itself has come from somewhere else in space. In that respect, you are very correct. You are very correct. Scotter chimed in. Hey, morning, gang. Good to see you, Scotter. And all the Spanky doesn't give a shit about carnivore. All he worries about is, when can I start playing golf again? Not bad, though. Not a bad aspiration. Question. Did you ever get the COVID? I back then, before I was carnivore, I got one shot, and I don't like to even talk about it or they demonetize my video. I got the one that was not an mRNA. It was the Johnson & Johnson one. I didn't have any effects. I will not get another one. But I just, honest to God, I just can't be talking about that kind of stuff on my channel. Unfortunately, they say this is not suitable for advertisers, so we're not paying you. And they pay so little anyway, it almost doesn't make any difference. But it's not a great situation with the censorship. And the sponsors and the advertisers get to call the shots. So, of course, a pharmaceutical company is going to say, nah, that advertisement's not suitable. That's not suitable for advertising, because you've all seen it. I've seen it on my videos. What do you get as a pre-roll ad? You get an Ozempic ad half the time, or junk food, or stuff that I come on and say no. If I was an advertiser, I wouldn't want to advertise on that channel either. Kathy, since you had a zero, I never even had a coronary artery test, nor do I want one. Now, my previous sad eating didn't contribute to a zero score. I've been low carb all my life. I never ate the standard American diet. Never. I ate a low carb diet, Atkins, all of those diets with 2-3 month periods of binging, addiction driven binging, and then getting disgusted and going back on it. But I would say that 90% of my life I was practicing a low carb diet with no sugar or bread. I don't want to know. I feel great. I don't want somebody telling me, well, your calcium score is high, you're likely to drop over from a heart attack. Even though I don't think it'll happen, it would nag me. I don't want to be nagged. Not at my age anymore. I don't want to worry about crap at my age. If I had a reason to get a calcium test, I would. But every other test I've had, including ultrasounds and coronary ultrasounds and all the brain surgery I've gone through, and I've had ultrasounds of my carotids. There is no buildup. I don't want to look for trouble or even know. I'm sorry. That's me. You can call me a big chicken. I call it being happy and not having more and more to worry about of things that are not likely to ever happen. And if I drop dead one day, the one thing people can say about me is he lived a nice, long, fulfilling life. And I did. So, no, I never said that I had a zero CAC score. Somebody else said they did the other day. I don't remember who it was. God, my phone is going crazy. But and I have so much work to do that isn't YouTube and says urgent on it. So I'm going to have to get going here, guys. I'm going to have to get going. I have stuff for a customer that has to be done, evidently, because it says urgent. So we get through the questions. Wow, Mitch, did not know you played piano. Yeah, I have a video up there of me playing the piano. There is a video. Just look up Old Guy Carnivore piano. You'll find it. Bill Cook, happy birthday to Bill Cook's brother, Jeff. Yes, we're going to have to race through this because I have something that evidently has to be dealt with right now. Mitch, are you drinking regular brewed coffee? I'd like to convince you to drink coffee. No, thank you. No, thank you. I do what I do. I do what I do. Nobody can convince me to do anything. You can make a suggestion. I don't care. It's fine. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Don't fix it. Kevin, follow up. I started taking vitamin D a month ago. Woke up Monday with puffy eyes. And I can't help you there. Sorry. And I'm sorry I'm in a hurry, but I have to end this thing now. So we'll get through to the end of it. Sorry about that, folks. Nothing I can do. I did. Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for the coffees. Thanks for the support. And I will see you all at the regular time, 8:30 tomorrow morning. And until that, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.